Hi there, and welcome back to the Nourished Nutrition Business training series. I'm excited to have you here today because we are going now into some of the more tangible things that you want to implement in your business to make sure that it's successful. So in this training, I'm going to walk you through the 10 things that I believe every single holistic nutritionist and health coach needs to implement into their business in order to create a foundation for success. All right, so the first thing is to have a clear niche. Now, this is something that people go into major resistance around because they fear that if they choose a niche, it's like they're going to be married to that niche for life. And the thing is that you have to understand is that, first of all, we go back to what I talked about a little bit in the very first video about how you can basically build your business around either what you're passionate about or around the story that you have of how you healed yourself. Okay, so when you have that underlying your decision about a niche, you don't have to worry that you're going to choose the wrong path, because basically that inner passion is giving you direction, or the life experience that you've had behind you is literally your confirmation that you're on the right path, because that's why you went through what you went through, is to lead you to serving others with it. So one of the things to get with marketing is that you can't actually market unless you have a specific thing in mind that you solve and a certain kind of person to market to, right? So if you decide to not choose a niche, the minute you go to actually do any marketing, what you'll experience is your mind will go blank and you'll not know what to say, or whatever you say sounds actually really wishy-washy, right? Because it's not specific enough for people to hear that it's for them. So it's just really opening up to the idea that a niche is essential, that it is within you. When you do some digging, you'll find out what it is. And also to recognize that it's not a marriage, right? Like, you're not going to have to stick with it for the rest of your life. But if you start with any niche that you feel is relevant to where you're at in life currently, or your personal passions, then you get something that where you can actually start serving people right away, and you have you're able to communicate to a certain group of people, and then you have practice, right? You have practice and experience behind you working with people and marketing, which is what will build your success in the future. It becomes easier and easier once you have that experience behind you. But if you sit there thinking from a place of perfection paralysis, like, oh my God, I have one chance to pick the perfect niche, and if I don't pick the right one, then forevermore, I'll be stuck doing something I don't like. That would be a mindset thing that you want to, let go of, and just trust that what is coming up currently is just the right thing for now. And you can always change and grow, right? As I've gone through my own journey, I have gone through many different niches, right? The very first niche that I had was working and teaching people traditional foods, right? Like, I had a business online where I literally taught people via video and teleseminar how to make cultured foods, right? I had also a sugar detox, and I did this with a partner. And then I moved into working with gut healing, right? After my son actually had eczema, and we healed him using a leaky gut diet. And I transferred from, cultured food classes online to working privately with one-on-one with women whose children had eczema. Now, those are two different ways of marketing, right? But obviously the experience I had with cultured foods and the knowledge of how that healed the gut obviously was, also really excellent for working with children with eczema, right? And then, as I went on, I switched to working with women to help them lose weight, because that's something I had to go through myself. As I started to push 40, my hormones went off, and suddenly I found myself 176 pounds at 5'3" 3/4" tall, right? So I had to figure out for myself what was going on, how to heal myself. And now I've created programs and work with private clients just on that, on just letting go of the weight, okay? And obviously everything that I know about gut health is underlying on the hormonal level as well, right? So everything just builds on each other. So nothing I've created in the past is going to waste, right? It's all just evolving with me. So you don't have to get all freaked out about it, that, you're going to not be available to everyone if you choose a niche. Because at the end of the day, to be honest with you, even though I've focused on niches, I've had, because my first packages that I created for helping people with their businesses were geared towards mothers. I would have people who've never had children just email me and say, oh, I totally resonate with your approach. I'm not a mother, but can I hire you as a business coach, right? So don't worry, the people who resonate with you, with your message, with your vibe, even if you're not marketing specifically to them, they'll be attracted to you and they'll actually ask you, can I work with you? Okay, so just relax about it, let it go, trust that whatever decision that you make is going to be the right one. And of course, in the program, the Nourished Nutrition Business program that I will be sharing with you in upcoming video, I go into great detail about how to pick a niche so that you get support with that. All right, so number 2 is unique selling proposition. Okay, it's called your USP. It's basically what sets you apart from others, what you do is unique, right? So if you can come up with a unique selling proposition in your business, then you don't have to ever worry about competition, right? One of the ways that I help people do that in my program is through a module called Your Soul's Calling. And it's really about incorporating not just your knowledge of how to help people with nutrition, but all of the other passions and gifts and skills that you have in your life and combining them into a specific package that helps people in a very unique way based on your gifts and skills, okay? And it allows you to actually do more than just one thing in your business. It allows you to express all of you in how you give back and serve in the world. And then you feel a lot more fulfilled than like isolating yourself as like, oh, I only do this, right? So say, for example, if you are a nutritionist, but you also have a background as a Reiki practitioner. Okay, so how can you incorporate nutrition knowledge and energy medicine and the actual giving of the Reiki treatment and the nutritional assessment? How do you package all those things together so that you don't have to give anything up, essentially? And then automatically what that does is it makes you very unique. And when a client comes to you, say they have a specific issue that you solve, right? Because we, make sure that we have this centered around a niche, that you solve a specific problem for them. And then they go to like somebody who's offering a generic so-called Reiki service or a generic so-called nutrition service. And that is not there, like that person who's doing that, their personality is not coming through, right? They're putting up like a website that looks like a pamphlet, essentially. And that person who's looking for the service and the results that you offer, when they see that person's website versus yours, automatically they are drawn to yours because it comes, your personality and your soul and your passion comes through, right? And it's something different. People are really attracted to something different. Everybody's looking for something unique, right? Something special. They don't want just like, the generic service. They want something that's super nourishing. People are looking for an experience. They're not just looking for the results. They want that. But if you are the person who also gives them an experience, they're going to choose you over another practitioner. And then at the same time, you don't have to worry about that feeling of competition, right? Because essentially they're being attracted to you because of your uniqueness. It's not because you're like outdoing someone else or, that you have to have any feeling of worrying about what anybody else does, right? You just focus on you and how you do things in a unique way and then really get into what you're doing. And you don't even think about things like competition once you're into your business in that way. I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee. All right. So the third thing is creating a signature system. So basically what that is you, because you've chosen a niche and you know what kind of results that you're looking to get that particular niche. Now what you do is you create a step-by-step system that walks your clients through what they need to do to actually get those results. Okay, so you may have noticed if you go to the store or like a bookstore, for example, and you go to the health section and say you wanted to solve a particular problem. Maybe you wanted to do a liver cleanse, okay? So what if there was 2 books on the shelf and one was like, this thick of just like basic information about everything you could possibly know about the liver and how to nourish the liver, okay? And then there's this other book and it's a lot shorter and it's like, it says something like step-by-step system or 7-step system to heal your liver in 21 days, okay? Think about the consumer, what they're gonna do, which book they're gonna buy, right? they're going to buy the book that says it's going to be done in 21 days and it's a certain amount of steps. Why? Because they know that they're not going to have to read that thick book and decode and create their own system and figure out what they're going to have to do, right? So they're going to buy the step-by-step system because they now don't have to go and become an expert on the liver to heal themselves, right? Same thing, when they come to you, they're going to have more confidence that you can help them if you have a system, okay? And on one level, they're actually programmed to trust you and trust your program more because of the way you're positioning it as a system, because that's how they've been marketed to in the past, right? How other people market successfully leaves clues, right? So when you go to the bookstore, you as a practitioner, because you're into the process, you'll probably buy both of those books. Honestly, you're okay with the book that's this thick that has a ton of information about the liver, but you're also going to be curious about how some other expert on your topic laid out and designed a plan, because it's going to inspire you and give you ideas to create your own plan. But for the consumer, they're not looking for all that information. They just want the results. So it helps in that way, in terms of helping your client to be confident to make a decision to work with you. Now, it also helps you energy-wise because you're not reinventing the wheel with each client. You've already looked at what can I set up in advance for my clients and actually see, where they might struggle and solve that problem before they even get there to make it easy for them, right? So it serves the client and it serves you. And then because you're focusing on a niche, you're not having to make a gazillion handouts for everything, right? Like if you can imagine, if you did a general practice where you were like, I help everyone, right? And that's impossible to market, by the way. Every single time a client would come to you, you're like, believe me, I've done this. You're scrambling before the session and you're scrambling after the session because you're doing individual live stuff for each person. But when you focus down on a niche, then you actually get to think about, okay, these people, what do they need, right? And you create one thing and you can give it to all of your subsequent clients, right? So you can provide like a really incredibly in-depth service that provides a ton of value without spending a lot more of your time, right? Of course, in the beginning of your business, it's going to be a lot more time consuming because you're setting up your systems, right? But it pays off later, okay? So of course, in the Nourished Nutrition Business program, I share with you how to create your own signature system and provide a workbook for you to do that, to help you organize your thoughts and get everything out of your head and onto paper and then design the packages essentially. Okay, so that brings me to the next one, which is packages, right? So most people, when they start their business, they start doing it the way they see other people doing it in business as holistic practitioners. And how do people do it? They do the one-off sessions, right? So when you go to somebody for a one-off session, obviously in one session, your life is, I'm not going to say completely not possible, because yeah, sometimes, we can just have one session with somebody and like our whole worldview opens up and then we take totally different action in our lives and that one thing did actually change our lives. But for most people, it's not like that, right? And they need support to actually implement what they learn. Because what you think is easy for you because you're passionate about nutrition, but for them, it's difficult and it's, it's just not, it's not obvious. And even if it is obvious, they have a hard time doing it. So they actually need the support. So what you want to do is actually design packages that are based on results. Okay. So it's not about doing a continuity package where you just say, okay, each of my clients does 6 sessions and you have to buy them all once. Although that's definitely better than the one-off model, right? Because at least you are going to be working with them in multiple sessions so you can help them overcome any obstacles that come up along the way. But if you sell your packages based on specific results, you're actually going to be able to, again, design a package that solves that result. So you're going to be offering a much higher level service than somebody who is just winging it or following the client's lead, which you shouldn't actually do because the client is the client is confused in this area. The client, this is not their thing. So you shouldn't be following them. You should be leading them or guiding them, right? So that doesn't mean that you also don't slow down, for example, if the client's not implementing quick enough, right? And meet them on that level, but you'll help them overcome that block and get them moving forward. And you actually have a clear path that you know that you're going to walk them towards, right? So again, packaging, the package model, it serves your client because that means you're creating an amazing product or service that's perfect for them, right? And it really helps you as well. And the reason why is because it is actually a model that allows you to only have to sell once, right, to the client. Whereas if you do the one-off model, you have to keep convincing them to come back. So if you don't like selling already, imagine how much worse it's going to be if you use the one-off model. Whereas if you use the package model, you sell them into the program once, they make a decision, they commit to getting the results, right? And of course, then you get better clients and then they get better results, right? So it's better for you. It's better for your cash flow, right? Because you're not constantly wondering and worrying, like, how much money am I going to make? How many clients are going to come in this month? You just have a decision about how many clients you want to have and what your pricing is. And then you fill your practice and then you know you have that money coming, right? So it's much better for you in that way as well. And you're getting basically paid on results, not your time. Okay, so that makes a big difference as well, just in like your thought about it, because it makes you get more serious about your business and make sure that you create your packages so they do get people results, right? So it's better for them and it's better for you because you'll feel organized. You're not going to know what you're going to do in every session, and you're actually going to get paid well and feel like more confident about your cash flow compared to the person who's doing like the one-off sessions, right? All right, so the next one is doesn't matter what the numbers. Just know your numbers, right? Your numbers, if you don't know how much money you need to make monthly, okay, it's going to be impossible for you to actually create a business that is viable. Okay, a lot of people do this. They just think about their package and then they go, oh, maybe I should just price it at this particular price. Okay, if you do that, you're very likely to not price your services in a way that is actually going to, put enough money on the table for you to like feed yourself and pay the bills, right? So you have to actually think from the end in mind and then design your pricing around that. And of course, in the program, I have a template to help you do that. And so you can't actually price your packages until you know your numbers first. So, it's not very fun for most of us. We don't like to look at all those things. But if you don't do this, if you don't actually know your numbers, you're just going to set up yourself to fail right from the start. And unfortunately, way too many people do this. And in order to actually achieve a goal, you have to be clear about what it is. Okay. So it's really important to do this work with the numbers, and in the program I help you out so it's not so overwhelming, and have templates to help you do it. And of course, I'm there for you to help you through any blocks that come up around money, because money is obviously in our culture, people have a lot of issues when it comes to money. A lot of belief systems that are about lack that keep us held back from actually doing what we need to do and feeling confident and comfortable receiving money for the work that we do in the world, right? All right, so the next thing is upsells and downsells. You need to have more than just one offering in your business, okay? Now, of course, you have to do one thing at a time. So there will be a point where you only have one offer in your business. It's not a good idea to try to make 100 things at once, right? But ideally what you do is you have multiple offers so that when you do get on a call with somebody, depending on their budget, their time commitment, you have multiple ways of serving them. Okay, so for example, in my business, I have a nutrition e-course that is for people who want to lose weight, right? It's called the Delish Diet. And that price of that program is $297, okay? Now, it is a program that if I get on a call with somebody and they can't afford a high-end coaching package, it's a pretty much no-brainer that most people can at least afford to do the do-it-yourself e-course, right? So I'm not making my services so exclusive that only people with, a lot of room on their credit card or who have a high income can actually use. All the information is actually in the e-course. If they need the support and accountability and the connection, then they can upgrade to a private coaching package. So you would do the same in your business so that you would have multiple levels of ways people can get in and work with you. And you won't feel like you're, exclusive, right? Because I know that's for a lot of holistic practitioners, we don't want to feel that way, right? Because what we do helps people, and we don't see it as a luxury. And we feel like every person should have access to some sort of support, okay? So you're going to want to do that, and then you can actually move people through different levels of your program. They might do the e-course first and then upgrade to private coaching, right? So when you do that, you'd be surprised that a lot of people who will do your e-course, even though they already have all the information, they'll still upgrade to a private coaching package because they realize like, okay, I know what to do. I'm not doing it, right? So you never think that it's redundant to offer the exact same thing in a private coaching package, but now you're just doing it with them, right? You're holding their hand through it. You're helping them through their obstacles, okay? So you don't have to have tons of different, programs going on. This can be the same program. There's just different ways of engaging in the program. So it's not overwhelming for you as a practitioner to have to create so much, right? But you're offering multiple ways of working with you and giving people so many different kinds of experiences without it being more work for you. All right. So talking about that people will be buying your packages and doing upsells and downsells, etc., you actually have to be comfortable with sales, right? So you need a model and a system, a sales system, okay? So you need to know how to talk to people to help them to make a decision, because that's essentially what a sales conversation is an opportunity for that person to get clear on whether or not they want to work with you, and also for you to get clear on whether or not you want to work with them, okay? And, there's no pressure involved. It's just honestly, it's just a lovely conversation. I think you'll really enjoy having a sales conversation when you actually perceive sales as an opportunity to help somebody get clarity and make a decision, because now it feels more of a coaching kind of thing rather than a consult, right? Like if you offer free sessions out there and you call it a health coaching session or something like that, then people get on this free call expecting you to give them information about what they need to do to solve their problem, right? Whereas a coaching call that is based on what we call in the business world a discovery session, it's actually designed to help them get clarity and make a decision. And why you'll enjoy it is because, in regular life, we don't always get the opportunity to go deep with people and ask the deep questions. But this is these sales conversations are like a container for that. I love them because I'm genuinely interested and curious about people and what makes them tick, right? So to me, a sales conversation is something I look forward to. And I believe when you, adopt that mindset, you're going to have the same experience, right? Being somebody who has depth and who's interested in people. If you look at it that way, you're going to actually really enjoy sales. Okay. But then you need a system for looking at how do you take that client in? How do you, communicate to them that this is not a consultation, this is a coaching session? How do you handle what's called objections? Those are all things that are provided in the Nourished Nutrition Business program. I walk you through that, and I have a sales script and all that for you to make it easier. But even if you, take this entire training and go off on your own, if you even adopt that mindset that selling is serving and that you're there to help them to make a decision, you're going to go into your sales calls in a much more relaxed manner and detached from the outcome, right? Because if people feel that you need them to be your client, they're going to feel uncomfortable, and they're actually just not going to not want to based on you needing them, right? So there's a whole bunch of energy stuff that we talk about as well around sales. All right. So the next thing is having a signature talk. So I talked about having a signature system, but also you need to have a signature talk that will help you to be able to go out into the community and do some public speaking in front of the right people, and have a system for turning those talks into clients, okay? Far too many people are just doing free talks out there that are not to their niche, and they get really burnt out and exhausted, and they feel really upset because nobody becomes their client after doing those talks, okay? So what you need to have is a system for doing talks that actually generates clients. And inside of the program, I walk you through exactly how to do that. Not only how to actually create your talk, but how to make it so that it doesn't become a waste of your time. So that every single time you do a talk, you get people on your email list, you get people who sign up for your discovery sessions, and then you turn those people into clients, right? because that's what it's all about. It's about going out there, sharing your story, sharing the possibility for transformation, and connecting with people and helping them get results, right? Like that's why you went to nutrition school, is to help people. So you have to learn all this business stuff and put it in place in order to be able to help those people. Okay. And finally, 2 more. So the next one is creating a super valuable gift for your list, okay, that actually builds a list for you. Okay, so you've probably seen it, many times. It's kind of a standard thing now in the internet marketing world that you get these offers for free gifts all the time, right? Now, people are really busy, and they don't want it even if it's free, if it doesn't have value. So you want to make sure it's super valuable, that it really gives people a great experience and something that they can walk away from, even if they decide not to be your client, right? Because at the end of the day, then it's valuable to them. They didn't want to have to walk through an entire sales pitch, okay? So for example, you being here and being already on video 3, you have had the experience of being walked through as a client, a potential client of mine, a free gift that offers value, okay? I have not been salesy at all. I have given you information, and I have seeded to you that there is more to learn, that there are ways to learn with me. But in no way have I made this training a 3 video sales pitch, right? I've given you tons of content. I've been very generous with my time. And that is basically giving you an opportunity to decide whether I'm the right person for you or not, right? So you want to do the exact same thing for your clients, right? Go out of your way, give your time, share with your clients as much as possible. I'm sharing with you exactly what my system is and what you'll get inside the program, right? I'm not like, holding back and being like, well, you don't get to know until you're in the program what the program's about. No, I'm telling you right now what the program's about, which is going to allow you to decide whether or not it's for you, right? And that's, exactly what both of us want, right? You want to have the confidence to make a decision. I want you to have the confidence to make a decision because I want happy clients, right? So same with you. You want your clients to be happy. If you don't give people like what's called like that free spoon, right, where you give them like, a taste test of things, you're likely to actually get refunds or people dropping out of your programs. And the reason why is because they actually haven't gotten a taste of what it would be like to work with you, right? Like if you were to be watching my videos and feel really bored, well, I probably am not the right teacher for you, right? Or maybe if you don't like the look in my eye or the sound of my voice, then I'm not the right teacher for you, okay? So I'm giving you an opportunity to make that decision. So you do the same for your clients, and you're going to get ideal clients because they're going to be like, oh, I love this woman. I totally resonate with her. This is the person I want to learn from. And then you have, this business made up of ideal clients who you totally love. You can't wait to connect with, right? Too often people go out there and they make this like professional business, right? And then they just attract these people that they don't resonate with, that they're not looking forward to serving, right? Whereas the way I create my business is to create it in such a way that I'm super casual. And you can see that I have some notes here to make sure I don't remember my 10 points, right? But I'm not scripted. There's no teleprompter going across the screen, right? Like when you watch a lot of these marketing videos, they look a lot more professional than mine, but you can tell that they're reading a script, right? And they're not allowing their personality to just come through, their authenticity, okay? So I prefer to be more casual than to be professional, because this is how I'm happy doing my business. And I'm not going to go ahead and become an entrepreneur and create a business that I don't enjoy, because otherwise, why not just have a job, right? So you can just design your business in any way that you like, okay? So that was just a little, that's a little sneak peek at what we're actually going to be talking about in the next video, and about how to create your business so that it has ease and flow and pleasure for you and the client. Okay. But we'll talk more about that in that video. Okay. So now that you have a super valuable free gift, you have to have somewhere to put that free gift, right? So what you want to do is you want to create a website that is more than just a pamphlet, right? Like a lot of people put up these static websites and they don't do anything for them. You have to create a website that has a specific purpose that's designed to speak to a specific person, and actually enroll clients for you while you're sleeping. That's essentially what we want, right? Because, we know that being in business, we're going to have to actually work, right, with our clients. That takes time. You can't this idea of the 4-hour work week, honestly, that makes no sense to me, because if you love what you do, why would you only want to work 4 hours a week, right? It sort of alludes to this idea of people just wanting that quick, rich, they're not obviously passionate about what they do if they only want to work for 4 hours, okay? So you want to create a website that will do the stuff for you that you don't want to do, okay? So now, if you could imagine, if I were to just put out a very expensive advertising campaign, I could get a whole bunch of people on a sales call with me, okay? But unfortunately, with them never having heard anything from me before, like say they never saw my face, they never heard my voice, and then I get on a sales call with them, the chances of me having a high conversion rate is pretty low, because they've never spent time connecting with me, right? Now, this experience here, me actually recording these videos and connecting with you, means that for most of you, if you decide to get on a sales call with me, you're going to decide yes. Your idea of coming on that call is just to make your final decision. Or some of you would just choose it because you want to actually spend some time with me, right? Before you move on to the coaching package. That is going to happen because of this, right? Because you're sitting here, you've already got connected to me, okay? If you just landed on a phone call with me and we never had this experience together, it would be less likely that you would say yes to it, because you don't have this experience already with me. You don't know what my vibe is. You don't know the quality of my work and how I connect with you, right? So what this does for me is save me a lot of time, okay? Basically, these videos are working for me while I'm sleeping. So I live in Canada, right? So somebody in the UK could be going through this series every night while I'm sleeping, and then decide to join the group program, or decide to apply for a discovery session with me to chat about being my private client, right? And all this, I worked once, and it's serving myself and that other person over and over again. So that's what you want to do, is set up on your site, not only that you've created a valuable free gift like this, but you want to set it up on your website as a sequence, okay, that literally enrolls people into either your program or your private services. So you set up emails, right, that go out for people that have opted in for your free gift, to invite them to be your client, to get on a call with you, okay? So that's how your website will work for you while you're sleeping. This idea of like spending 10 grand on a very expensive but gorgeous website when you're in your business startup and you're not that confident that you've chosen the right niche, or the name of your business, or all these different things, or you haven't been in the business long enough, you should never be spending that kind of money on a website, okay? The most I would ever recommend spending on a website is $300 to $500, and I'm not even kidding you. And the reason why is because people change really fast, okay? And I see this happen over and over again, no matter how many times I tell my clients. I swear to God, most of them don't listen to me, because sometimes you have to actually do it wrong first to believe what someone's telling you, right? But there's some of you on here, a percentage of you, who are like, okay, intellectually, I get that, okay? I feel compelled, like I want to have this like perfect website, but I get it. I get that that wouldn't be the smartest business move. What you should be investing in is your knowledge of marketing and sales, and how to set up your business systems so that you can be a success. If you have the prettiest website on the planet, and it looks really professional on the outside, but on the inside, you don't feel ready for clients, you don't feel professional, you don't feel confident, then it doesn't matter how pretty your website is, okay? A lot of people are doing the pretty website to cover up how they feel on the inside, okay? So invest in yourself first, in your knowledge, in creating an amazing service for your clients, and actually setting up business systems so that you can be successful. And when you're making money, that's when you can justify a website revamp, like a revamp of your website, right? Because you already know, you're into it, right? Like you know that, like, okay, I'm doing this work. It's like, it's making a difference. this is at the point where you can actually really get into branding, right? This is another thing. People pay all this money to have this website done, but they don't know how to brand, right? So then you have this incohesive mess essentially, and it's really expensive. Okay. So I'll give you an example for myself. I actually invested quite a bit of money to have a website redo at some point, not at my Nutrition Wisdom site, but a different site of mine. I spent about $4,000 to 6 months later remove it. I'm not even kidding you. Because and I even held off to get that because I already knew I needed to not spend a lot of money on a website. However, when I finally did, and then I changed, and I felt like with websites, when you're working with designers, they only give you a couple options and they only have a certain amount of revisions. And so I kind of settled, right? So then Canva came up on the scene, right? And then I started making my own banners. And honestly, I'm more satisfied with my own banners because I can actually take what I'm, in my head and actually make it happen. Whereas it's hard to translate that to somebody else. Okay. So I'm not saying that I wouldn't in the future, spend more money and go into more major branding and, a more professional website. But you know what? I'm satisfied with what I have right now because at the end of the day, I know that it's not my website that sells you into the program. It's your faith in me and how I operate, that you trust that I can help you, right? At the end of the day, that's it, okay? There may be some people who are, a little bit more superficial that might not actually, opt in for this because they're like, well, this doesn't look professional enough. But that it's just not having a knowledge. Actually, there's many people out there who I know of who have beautiful websites who are not making any money, okay? So that is not important. It's really like how I get clients is I'm willing to be visible. I'm willing to do things like this. I'm willing to go on Facebook and do a video. I'm willing to go on Facebook and do a live stream. Okay. I'm willing to be interviewed for teleseminars. That's how I'm successful. Okay. It's nothing to do with branding or, website stuff. It's the fact that I know how to run a business on the inside and I'm willing to get out there, give value and be visible. Okay. And that's all you need to do as well. All right, so there you have it, the 10 things that your health coaching business needs to be successful in the more tangible realm. Okay, so in the first video, we talked about, what you need to have to be able to be successful as a nutritionist, and it comes down to an amazing story of healing yourself or a real strong passion. Okay, and then the second video, we talked about the 10 things that are basically holding you back from being successful in your business. And if you remember, they're all mindset things, right? And then in this training, we talked about the stuff that you need to put in place, that it's more the foundational, tangible business stuff. And in the next video, we're going to talk more about how to, make the experience of delivering your service pleasurable so that you truly love your experience of being an entrepreneur at the same time as being a nutritionist. Because a lot of people get so overwhelmed with the business stuff that it totally sucks the joy out of being giving the service. So we're going to talk about how to make sure that you keep that ease, pleasure, and flow in your work. All right, so we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.